up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host, Colonel and Dad, Garrett Morlang. Joining me here in the virtual studio is the king of video games and still resident superstar, Adrian Holmes. What's up, Adrian?
What's going on, Garrett? It's good to see you again. You know, me and only me here with you once again.
Yeah. I mean, it's so good to see you and only you here tonight, honestly. And just you and me and you, because
as usual,
we don't need anyone else. We're good. You know what? You and me, we're good together. We're good together.
We make it work.
We just make it work. That's it. We're not good. We just make it's fine.
No.
Okay, I see how it is. I see how it is. All right. Well, you know, that's fine. That's all right. Twitch.
I mean, we make the situation work.
We make it work. Yes, JJ once again not joining us tonight because who knows why? You know, honestly, he probably has some excuse, but you know what I told him? I was like, JJ, I don't want to hear it. You can just take your excuse and you know where to put it.
But you guys don't understand. There's Stone Cold put out a new book. I have to be there.
I can see him now at the signing at Barnes and Noble right now.
Right.
Getting that. No, I feel like Stone Cold would have a signing like a gas station or something.
At a Golden Corral. At a Texas Roadhouse. That's where it would be at.
No, Golden Corral's better. Oh no. Yes. So no JJ tonight. He's getting his new book signed by Stone Cold over at the Golden Corral. Find him in downtown Nebraska, USA, wherever he's at. But we do have a show for you because we care about you. And we care about video games. And we care about having fun. So tonight, we're going to be talking about some PS5 Pro rumors. Juicy rumors. Resident Evil 4 is killing it in reviews. And Fortnite is getting a public... I don't know why I wrote the word public in there. It's getting an Unreal editor to make some fun custom Fortnite matches. But first, let's give a quick shout out to our Patreon producers, Bumble Smash, Eddie Martin, and Kajoma01, and our Super Gamer sponsors, Julie Bates and Mama Mare. If you want to be awesome just like those folks, head over to patreon.com/supergamerboys, and you can support us over there starting at just $1 a month. That's right, for 100 pennies. You could support us and get episodes early and ad-free, such as this show and Adrian's Super Gamer Book Club each and every month. The new one out this month is Hi-Fi Rush, featuring DJ Trues. Go check that one out. It was a blast to record. It's a fantastic game. Go play the game first. It's on Game Pass. It's free. What are you doing with your life?
Good.
And then go listen to that one. Show some support. We'd appreciate it. And then the free one, if you're on the fence and you're like, should I support you guys? Is it worth getting those episodes 2 months early? Well, lucky you. Right now, the free episode is Kingdom Hearts, featuring KK Ryder and Angel, which it's up there.
One of the best games ever made.
Great game, great episode, great guest. Can't go wrong with that. So go check that out on the free feeds over on podcast apps, wherever you find your podcast, or over on our YouTube, youtube.com/supergamerboys. Give that a watch, give that a listen. If you're like, hey, they make some good stuff, think about throwing us that $1 or $5 or $10 or $15. You know, think about it. Upcoming this month, coming next Friday, hopefully. We'll see. That's the plan. We kind of set a tentative date for recording next week. So the very last day of the month, getting it in right at the end, the 31st, hopefully you'll be getting Grand Theft Auto Vice City. And at this point, I think it's just us. There's no guest. I contacted someone and did not hear back. Not even like a no or a I'll get back to you, just like crickets. I'm like, all right, cool.
All right, well, message received loud and clear.
Granted, I think they were out of town on a trip visiting some friends during the weekend.
I know, I'm just giving them a hard time. They know who they are.
You know who you are. You dirty, rotten piece of... but yeah, so we'll talk more about our Patreon later on the show. But before we move on, I want to give one enormous shout out or two enormous shout outs to Jack Sriracha and Yate for allowing us to use their music on our show. We appreciate them very much. This music that you hear in the background right now, hopefully you hear it on stream. You definitely hear it in the recording because I fix it all in post, but there should be music in the background right now, and it is wonderful. It's just nice little chill tunes in the background to help tie the whole podcast together. So then it's not just my nails on a chalkboard voice alongside Adrian's just
velvet,
smooth, it's exactly
lavender vocal cords I have right here.
Exactly. So like it's really more just padding, and it's like throwing a blanket over my ugly voice because you really don't want to look at it. You don't want to hear it. So,
now, Garrett, speaking of chill tunes, did you let people know that we are probably going to have some new stuff coming into rotation here pretty soon for the background music?
I have not. Yes, that is the truth. We are working on one DJ Trues, who was featured on the Hi-Fi Rush episode. Makes music. We're trying to figure out how to get it on here because Adrian made me switch to Apple Music.
We're fighting the good fight against big Spotify.
But DJ Trues only has his music on Spotify and YouTube. And I don't really want to stream YouTube while I'm streaming to you guys because that just seems like a lot of streaming going on. So I'm going to try to get...
Go bother Trues. Go bother Trousers Schnauzer. Tell him to put his stuff on Apple Music.
That's the number one thing. If everyone here listening to this podcast goes to him and says on Twitter at Trouser Schnauzer, I think is his name, is on there still, and like, hey, put your music on Apple Music, then he'll do it. But he did a poll, and it was like by like one vote, they voted no. I was like, why would you say no? Why would you not want it everywhere? Like, I don't get it.
Even if you don't use it. Like, I don't like Spotify. I still want him to put his stuff on Spotify.
Exactly.
Because there are people who, for some reason, still use Spotify, but hey, here we are.
So go tell him to put on Apple Music, and if you, at the very least, do that. But if not, then we're gonna figure out a way to get it on our show. But
even if we have to get the files from Trouser himself,
that's the plan at the moment. He told me, he's like, hey, just let me know what songs you want. I'll send you the MP3s. I'm like, all right. I was like, do you have a Bandcamp? I'll buy it. I'll buy all your albums. I don't care. He's like,
I'll Venmo you like whatever you want. $10 here, take it.
I'll pay you any amount you want at this point. But yes, hopefully we'll have some new tunes. But for the time being, we got Jack Sriracha and Yate. Go show them some love. Links are in the show description on YouTube and podcast services below. All right. That's all I got for the housekeeping. It's now time to check the mail.
Interesting thing about that, Garrett. I don't know if JJ told you, because he's always at work.
Yeah, no, he doesn't.
So Mr. Workaholic was on one of his many jobs where he's working till like 9:30 at night, and he must have been a little tired, a little delirious. Get this. Dumbo left the mailbag in a client's house, and now it's infested with bed bugs.
Ugh.
So
that's horrible.
Now we have to hire an actual competent exterminator.
Oh gosh.
Or I'm sorry, bug specialist to get our mailbag cleaned and back in a proper usable state. So you can thank JJ again for why the mailbag is not present. But thank goodness we have our Discord where people can send in questions like the ones you're about to read right now.
Good thing. One last thing. I also heard, I was reading in the news that there's an article from Argentina. Apparently, termites were not eradicated there. They're more rampant than ever. So JJ.
So you're saying he's a fraud?
He's a complete fraud on the pest control front. He talks a big talk, but come to find out, all he was doing is just messing with the ladies down there. He was doing
laying in hammocks. That's all he was doing.
Laying in hammocks. That's all he's doing. Because that's all you do in Argentina. So, but yes, we do still have access to those mailbag questions here. Thank you so much for writing in to supergamerboys.com/Discord. You can join our server over there. It's completely free. And you can join in. And if you support us on Patreon, you get a cool little badge next to your name. People will know that you support us. And you can chat with us during.
Kids. Cooler kids. Everybody's cool, but you're cool.
Yes. And you can chat with us during the week and just hear about all of my fantastic takes on video games all the time. All right. This first question comes from Hophead Ed, who I got all riled up again on the Discord. I love that. Because I'll talk about it in what you're playing later. But spoiler, I played some Hollow Knight and it was so good. I was like, hey, I played this game. I don't even think Adrian's ever heard of it. It's a really small indie developer, really good game. I don't think it's the kind of game Eddie would like. He only likes bad games like Chrono Trigger and Final. It's this game called Hollow Knight, and he was just like, what?
You were pressing every button you could think to press.
I was trying so hard. I think eventually I had to tag him because it had been like a whole day and he hadn't seen it. I finally am like, Eddie would never like this game. And then
there's
finally
two
he came
games
in.
You don't mention by name. We already know they're on the list.
Yes.
The first one is the Valve VR game.
Yes, we won't even say it on air here because there's
only one Valve VR game of note. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And the second one is the Team Cherry Metroidvania. We don't talk about either of those games.
Oh, man. So this first question from Hophead Ed, he asked, March Madness is full of upsets and twists, so I would like to hear your Mount Rushmore of twist in video games. In other words, biggest surprising moments that genuinely caught you off guard.
I got a couple.
Okay.
We can collab on this one.
Okay.
Are you ready? All right. So
go for it.
My first and most memorable one, I think in recent memory, is definitely the reveal in BioShock.
Yes. 100%.
Would you kindly, the whole like snowball from there. That one was masterfully played. I did not see that coming at all. And I also went back and I've been watching a couple essays about that. And there were hints the whole time about the switch that was coming up, but you would have never picked up on them if you never played it before. But when you go back,
crazy. So
it was there the whole time, dude. That one
Yeah.
was so good.
Now, I haven't played BioShock since we did the book club on it with Zetch years ago now. But isn't he also like your dad as well? Don't you kind of find that like, or it's not explicitly said, but it's almost like hinted like he could possibly be like your dad, like you were born there, sent away, came back, like, or no? Am I thinking of something else?
I
mean, either way, the twist is already crazy. Just that,
right.
Like you were from there already. You're like a super agent or whatever. Like that's already a huge twist. Okay. But still, like I also for some reason I have this vague memory. Like I remember like reading something somewhere that you like also like
alluded to.
Yeah, like he might also be like your dad, which would also be like. What?
I always thought you were just a brainwashed kid that was there, but
yeah,
it's also been a while since I played it too.
Yeah.
My second one would be in Final Fantasy VII Remake. The fact that Zack lives.
As far as we can tell, yeah.
Yeah, like for right now. I mean, he's been going further than Crisis Core.
That's
so
true.
The fact that Zack lived, I did not see that coming at all. I popped off crazy when he kept walking with Cloud.
Oh man!
So I'd say those are my two, at least in recent memory.
Yep. So mine. Boy, this is tricky. Metal Gear Solid 2, the Raiden reveal. You play through the first few hours of the game. The tanker goes down. You're like, all right, what's gonna happen? It comes back. You're like, oh, okay, cool. Snake survived. Everything's good. And then he pops out of the water. You're like, something's not right.
Snake.
Something's not right. That's not Snake. And
Snake doesn't flip like that.
He keeps going by the codename Snake. You're like, you're not Snake. Something's wrong here.
He doesn't do cartwheels like that.
He pulls that mask off, and that is not Snake. That is Pretty Boy Raiden, who, honestly, though, it was so many people hated that twist. Like, to this day, still, people are like, so
they wanted to be
so upset about that. I loved it. Like, even like then I loved it. And to this day, I'm like, that is one of the greatest. Like, yeah, I would have been awesome to be Snake, but Raiden's super cool too. Like, I don't know. I always loved Raiden. I thought it was great.
I always have a ton of respect for people who do those kinds of things. Like, I think the most recent one in memory was The Last of Us Part 2. Boy, people did not take that well. I say a lot of people did.
People were not stoked about that.
Right, but you weren't supposed to be happy about it. You were supposed to learn to accept it over time. But some people, they have really hard times, like just dealing with that. I don't know. But that was the point of it. You were supposed to be angry at the beginning, and then as you play, you were
literally supposed to become Ellie in that moment,
right?
Because that's literally the rest of the game is Ellie, like dealing with it, and you as a player dealing with, like, in that sense, like you're like they put you in that headspace, like that same headspace that Ellie was in. It's like they did a fantastic job of doing it. Like, man, it was so polarized. But people are so upset they weren't even willing to play out the game. It's like, play out the game and take this journey with Ellie. I was reading
a Neil Druckmann interview. They actually got the idea to do that from Metal Gear Solid 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Like the big switch like that.
Yeah, the big switcheroo. Dang.
Or I should say inspiration, not the idea, because it wasn't the same kind of switch, but like having a big character switch in the game. Yeah, that was an inspiration for that. So,
by the way, we should have had like spoiler warning at the beginning of this question, I guess, because we're just like spoiling.
Maybe you can edit one in real quick.
Maybe I'll edit in like hey, by the way, there's going to be spoilers here. For the next
when you
few
say
minutes.
A twist, though, that's usually.
Yeah, I mean, that's. I don't know. Yeah.
A twist is usually a big reveal or something like that.
Yeah, you had to expect it. My second one, and this is because it's a recent game I played, so it's very fresh on my memory, is the end of Chrono Trigger. Well, not the end of him, but like when he dies.
Just him dying? Yeah.
Like that blew my mind. I'm like, I've been playing for him the entire game, and now we're about ready to go for the boss battle, the final boss battle, kind of, sorta, and then kind of, sorta, and then like he just dies, and you're like, what? Like,
and he's dead. He's dead.
I mean, granted, you go on with the game, and things transpire, and there's a lot more to the story than you realize. Like, it's like, oh, I wasn't as close to the end as I thought. But
there's a lot of lucky coincidences that you're able to reunite, let's say that, because we're already in spoiler territory. But if you so happen just not to meet the Lord of Time, Chrono would have been dead forever. That would have been it.
Yep. Absolutely crazy. So yeah, I'm trying to think of, that's 4, I guess, if we're working together as far as Mount Rushmore, but I was trying to think if there's any more that we're like totally missing out on here.
I'm sure there's one that I'm like,
I'm sure people are at home right now like, this one,
are you kidding me? About this?
Talk about this and now. Yeah, I don't know. The only other one I can think of is Death Stranding, where you learn, again, we're just spoiling all the games right here. Cliff is actually Sam's dad. Like BB the whole time that he's trying to find, he thinks it's the BB that you're carrying, but it's actually you. Like
dun, dun, dun.
And it's like, what? Like the bad guy you've been fighting the whole game is actually your dad, and he's not a bad guy. He's just literally coming back from hell to save and find his son. Like, it's like, oh geez. Like,
so you're saying because he was ripping off Star Wars, huh?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
The bad guy was your dad the whole time.
Yeah, because Star Wars did that first too. Oh man, yeah. So that's there's 3 from me. So you get Mount Rushmore, the Fallout version of Mount. Yeah, the Fallout version of Mount Rushmore, where there's like a mutated head off the side. Okay, another question from Hopheaded here. Fun last minute one if you have time. It's National Frog Day. So, name me some of your favorite frogs from video games. It does not have to follow the Rushmore format. I mean, obviously, the first one is Frogger. You have to say Frogger, right?
Yeah, the thought
Like-
crossed my mind when you first brought this question up.
I mean, he's a frog. He's the frog in video games, I feel like.
And then I said also, because recency bias from book club, I said Frog from Chrono Trigger definitely deserves a shout out. I feel like that goes without saying. Him and his insanely jacked arms.
Yeah, Frog from Chrono Trigger. I'm trying to think who else.
Slippy from Star Fox.
Okay, yeah, Slippy.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to remember what I said before the show to you. I just said the frog from Donkey Kong Country that you ride. I don't know if he has a name, but
why can I not remember his name?
does he? He has a name?
They all the animals have names.
Donkey Kong Country. Let's see. Oh, not Donkey Shrink. Oh no, what is this?
No, get out of there. Get out of there. Whatever you looking at,
back out. Oh no.
Abort.
I do not know what just auto-corrected, but it was not.
You got to delete your history now before you start getting ads for that kind of stuff.
Oh, Winky. That's his name.
Winky.
Oh, good old Wink.
I always remember Rambi, no problem. But the rest of them,
Let's see. Yeah, there's Wanky. There's Espresso the ostrich, Squawks the parrot, and Guard the swordfish.
Rambo and Squawks.
Squitter the spider. Interesting.
I remember Squawks because he was in Donkey Kong 64.
Okay. I can't think of any more frogs, honestly. I'm sure there's a lot more.
There you go. I mean, but you got a good little three-piece.
There you go. This last question comes to us from Sir Princelot. He asked, what's the best brand or flavor of chips? He says, any snack or chip qualify, then Cheetos count.
Can we do best brands? Because I don't think there's a definitive best brand of chips.
I agree. Yeah.
Because, I mean, I'll go first. Shout out to the Kettle brand of chips, the salt and pepper. The salt and black pepper. Oh,
the giant Costco bag that's as big as my torso of salt and pepper chips.
Dude, with a homemade deli sandwich with like ham and tomato and cheese on it. Oh my God.
So good. Yeah, that's our favorite. Yeah, because you get that honking bag at Costco. Yes, it's the size of my 2-year-old. And just bring that baby home.
Yes. Shout out to 2 different kinds of Lay's. Shout out to Original Lay's for being good at barbecues. Okay. And then shout out to sour cream and onion Lay's for being the best Lay's flavor. Period. What do you want to put up against that? If you say barbecue or salt and vinegar, I'm gonna leave this call.
No, salt and vinegar is Kettle brand. They have the best salt and vinegar in my opinion. No, I guess you're right. For Lay's, yeah, original and sour cream and onion. One thing. So this is gonna seem like a weird question. This is going to sound very strange, so I'll just do it. Strap in here. What do Californians dip their original Lay's chips in, or do you not dip? Like, do they dip? Do you buy chip dip? What is your chip dip in California?
I don't think we dip for Lay's. I think it has to be like a tortilla chip,
like wavy Lay's. I'm talking like even the wavy ones. You don't dip those.
Well, I mean, if there's like a no, I feel like. At least for me, I can only talk about me and mine. We don't really do it for wavy Lay's. Tortilla chips, like a Tostito or, that yellow bag. The yellow bag. Everybody knows the yellow bag of tortilla chips.
The yellow bag. About. Yeah.
If you have like salsa or bean dip or anything crazy like that, even artichoke dip, that's where tortilla chips go. Or Tostitos. But Lay. I mean, I know that there are dips for Lay's,
right?
But I just never associate potato chips with dipping. Right. It's always been tortilla chips,
and that's been my experience in California. Like when people do wavy Lay's, like there's rarely, if ever, a dip for it. It's just there's this Lay's. Where I grew up in New York, I think it's a New England. It must be a northeastern company. I don't know if it's based in New York or where it is, but it's like local to that area, like the northeast part of the U.S. There's this brand of dips called Hell of a Good. I guess the name of the company, Hell of a Good. And they have a bunch of different flavors, but the iconic, the one that you will find at every birthday party, every holiday party, any party where there's Lay's chips, this dip is there. If it's not, you're doing your party wrong. Is their French onion dip. And it sounds like, oh yeah, French onion dip, I've had that before, but no, it is different because I have had. There's some company, I think Fritos makes like it's next to their, like you go to the grocery store, it's like, oh, Fritos queso and Fritos, or not Fritos, who is it? Tostitos. Tostitos makes their queso, and then there's Tostitos salsa, and then I've even seen like Tostitos like French onion before, or something like that. I bought it thinking, oh, it's just going to be like Hell of a Good. It is not. It is bad. It does not taste anything close to what Hell of a Good tastes like.
See, I never get the chips brand dip. You get a high quality dip or sauce that's like artisan or handmade, and then you can get Tostitos because Tostitos makes good chips or anything like that, but you never get the dips from the people who make the chips because that's always a secondhand product. The chip is their premier thing, so they make that the best.
That's true. But I've tried a couple other brands though, and like nothing tastes even remotely similar to the Hell of a Good French onion dip. I don't know. And I've tried to figure out how to get it here in California, and it is prohibitively expensive to fly it. Like, it's not like you just buy it on Amazon. It's like, all right, you got to buy it from some shop and get it airdropped in. Craziness. But every time I go to New York, my parents buy the party size, or like my aunts and uncles,
you just stock up on it and mail it home.
It's just this big honking tub that you get at like, Wegmans there, and just I'll pound that in like a night, a whole
house in it.
Just a whole bucket of Hell of a Good dip. Give it to me. So yes. Anyways, that was way off topic. So the two chips I had were, like I mentioned, Kettle salt and vinegar. If it's gonna be salt and vinegar, it has to be Kettle.
I don't know why you like drying your mouth out like that.
It's
have at it, man.
I love it so much. Or I had a hard time because it can go either way on this one. Doritos.
What kind?
But yeah, here's the thing. I love the standard nacho cheese. Like
as do I.
That is number one. But I think my very, very, very close number two, almost like a 1.5, is
sweet and spicy.
The spicy sweet chili.
Yeah, that's a good one too. I was gonna say Cool Ranch is number one for me.
So good. Oh, I'm not a fan of Cool. It's fine.
Really?
Like, I'll eat it if it's there, but I would never pay go out of my way to buy Cool Ranch. Like,
mine goes Cool Ranch, then it goes sweet and spicy, and then it goes nacho. But you know what else? Do you remember when they had the Verde ones, the green ones?
No, I don't know if I ever had those.
Hold on, dude. I know I'm not tripping. There was a Doritos.
Oh, I'm sure they're a thing. Yeah.
Let me look it up. Doritos, Verde.
The Tapatio Doritos are good too, but they're not like a top like 1 or 2. That's like a 4 or 5 maybe on my list. But like, yeah, the Tapatio like spicy Doritos, those are pretty good too.
Salsa Verde. Those are good too.
Okay. That sounds good.
I don't think there's like I don't think for Doritos there's a bad flavor.
That's true.
I think you like some more than others, but if there's a Doritos there, I'm at the very least going to be like, you know what? It's not bad.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I don't think I've ever had one I'm like, ugh, like gagging. Like, it's always like, oh, this is good, or this is better. Like, like, yeah, I think you're 100% right on that. But man, I really, talking about Hell of a Good dip. Maybe I'll go down the rabbit trail tonight and see if there's a way for me to, you never know. Maybe in the last few months, things have changed and I can import it to California now.
It could be.
Oh man, I need some more dips in my life. But until then, that's it for our listener questions. And it is now time for the nerdy nudes.
It's now time for the nerdy nudes.
Perfection. All right. This first news story comes to us from Tom Henderson over at Insider Gaming. Exclusive. PS5 Pro in development, could release late 2024. Insider Gaming sources have confirmed that the PS5 Pro is in development and could release with a tentative release date of late 2024. Insider Gaming previously reported that a new PlayStation 5 with a detachable disc drive is scheduled to release later this year. Oh, okay. So I didn't realize that. When I read this article, I thought it was the same thing. But apparently that's coming out later this year. Possibly. It's understood that this new model will phase out the current PlayStation 5 to cut down on production and shipping costs. In spite of the widespread reports, this is not the PS5 Pro model. This is just the beginning of new hardware coming to PlayStation users this generation, said one source when talking about the detachable disc drive console. As for what the PS5 specs will entail, details are limited. However, a recently published patent by PlayStation architect Mark Cerny suggests that Sony Interactive Entertainment is looking to accelerate ray tracing performance in video games. Oh, so it's going to upgrade graphical stuff. Just like the PS4 to the PS4 Pro, we can generally guess pretty confidently that the PS5 Pro will have increased visuals, performance, and speeds. But as for the leaked details, we'll have to wait until a later date to release those. That's a weird sentence. Does that mean that you have the details and you're holding on to them? Or you just don't know them and you're waiting? Insider Gaming understands that the next generation of the PlayStation, the PS6, is unlikely to release until at least 2028. This would put the current generation console release schedule in line with its predecessors. In February, industry insider Jeff Grubb said during the Game Mess Decides podcast that Sony was planning to host a new PlayStation showcase before E3. Although Insider Gaming cannot corroborate this report at this time, we do anticipate it's very likely that a showcase is on the horizon to show off games including Marvel's Spider-Man 2, yes, and talk about its new hardware coming towards the end of 2023.
Don't get too excited. It's probably just going to be a trailer. Like another CG trailer, no gameplay.
I mean, it's been a few years. We could get something.
I mean, look, Insomniac has an incredible track record. They can honestly not say a word and then just put the game out on release day, and most likely it's gonna knock people's socks off. So
yeah. So as far as this PS5, I did not realize the part that there is reports already that essentially a quote unquote PS5 Slim is coming out later this year. I didn't realize that. That's interesting. But yeah, and then same source is also saying that next year we could be getting a PS5 Pro. How does this make you feel? Because you kind of mentioned it to me all before the show, so that's why I'm directing it back to you. But you just got your PS5. How do you feel about there could be a price drop here with the PS5 Pro, or a better version, a price drop with the PS5 Slim, or a better version of the PS5 Pro that you could have possibly got your hands on?
I feel like for the revision, that's fine. It's just going to be what I have already, right? If it's a detachable disk drive. I think I would think about if they, and I think this would be an incredibly smart thing of them to do, is to sell the disk drive on its own. Because I would love to be able to play a Blu-ray movie every now and again.
That's what I assume when they say detachable disk drive. That's what I picture in my head is you can buy the console and then buy an attachment that slaps on the bottom of it or something. That's right. That's what I think of when I hear those words. But maybe I
still have a gang of Blu-rays and stuff like that are way out of print for stuff that I can't.
A whole shelf full, yeah.
Right. That I can't get rid of because they're worth a lot of money and they're stuff that are not on streaming services at the moment.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to watch those every once in a while. It would absolutely not be for games. I am never going to buy another physical game. Not doing it. But yeah, I would love to be able to do that. So that really doesn't concern me at all. That basically what they're saying is they're phasing out the disc version of the PS5. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, with the option still to get a disc drive, but
they're gonna make a smaller unit, right?
With
and it's just gonna be the digital unit. And then for all the people that want a external drive, you can go and buy one, or you can get one bundled together, whichever way you want to do it. Yeah. But yeah, that's the only thing. And I think I was right. And a lot of people were kind of pushing back that, they're gonna have the PS6 is gonna have a disc drive. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think the PS5. I don't think the PS6 either. Or I don't think the next Xbox is gonna have a disc drive. I think this is it.
Yeah, I think the PS5 is kind of like the intermediary, kind of like in between, like inner evolutionary kind of like weird, like do we have disk drive or not? We don't know, but it's like
Right.
you can tell the direction they're going. It's like, okay, like because with the PS4 they never made a diskless version. Like it was just the disc version. So like, oh wow, we got a PS5 and there's the diskless version. There's two different versions here. It's very obvious the direction they're going. So yeah, I'm right there with you. By 2028, if estimates are correct based off of previous iterations of the PlayStation, that's still 5 years out. Like I could easily see digital being the main way people are doing things.
It already is in Europe, isn't it? Like it's over, what is it, like 70% of all purchases of games now are digital?
Wow.
Somewhere around there.
I haven't heard that. That's crazy though. I mean, I'm sure it's up there in most places, honestly. I think the only thing that would hold people back with digital stuff is internet access and storage space. Like that's like the fact that the PS5 is only 512 gig, and like that's kind of a bummer, which hopefully in the whatever the new Slim and the new Pro is, like they correct that and add like at least a terabyte.
Yeah.
If not two, because even with like the PS4 Pro, you get the 2 terabyte one, right? There was like a 2 terabyte one, I think.
I feel like there was only one, but you could
Was there one?
Well, that's the thing with those is you can always add more storage too.
Maybe that's what it was. I think I swapped my PS4 hard drive out for a 2 terabyte one, but
yeah, it was always I think it was so max easy. Was a terabyte out of the door. Yeah. But yeah, the biggest thing is going to be, like you said, internet speeds and storage management. I think that Sony is, and Microsoft, I think they're done, being scared of my physical games. I need them on the disc crowd, because that's not where the money is anymore.
Yeah. The
majority of people are buying them digital. So, yeah,
man, thinking about that, like I agree wholeheartedly. Like I think, all right, yeah, let's just go digital. That's what I've been doing for the last couple of years now. But man, I can just see it now. The literal riots in the street of people who are like, I need my physical game from my collection.
Look.
Oh man,
I'm tired of it.
I'm tired of it. Lose their minds.
I'm tired of it. Okay, you don't even get. If you go and you buy a copy of, I'm trying to think of a PS4 game right now. If you go and you buy a launch version copy of, I'll say, Horizon Zero Dawn, and you try to play that game with no internet access on a regular PS4 in 20 years, you won't be able to do it. You won't be able to do it.
Yeah.
There's going to be so many updates and all this extra data added on, and really all you're buying is the install file on the disc.
Right. Yeah, that's with most games. Like you even buy Call of Duty and all it is just a key. Like you download the other 120 gig off the internet when you put it in anyways. So at this point, you're right. Like discs are useless other than just to be able to show off a quote unquote collection on your wall.
Stop being valuable after Xbox One, the first Xbox, PS2, and GameCube. The second you could start downloading stuff from the servers is when that's it. You didn't need it anymore. And developers realize that too.
I mean, to the point where they're even developing their games in such a way where, like, a lot of times at launch, like you're saying, they're busted.
It's not even the whole game. They're just busted.
It's not the whole game, and it's busted.
We'll put this part on the disc so it could install the heavy part, and then we'll push the rest of the game as a day one update.
Yeah, and if you don't get that day one update, like it's
unplayable.
It's unplayable. Like either it's full of bugs or it's like half a game. So it's like
so I understand those my physical people. I need my physical up to a certain moment in time, but after PS3, that went out the window because they didn't have to put the whole game on the disc anymore. And ever since then, it's been like that. So and the only thing that you can argue is. With physicals that sometimes games get delisted, and that is definitely something that needs to be hashed out. I feel like in the next few years,
like Well, I mean, like we were playing Vice City for book club right now. They delisted all the original versions when the definitive came out. You can only play the definitive, which is broken. Like you can't play the original ones, which work.
Right.
So I think Sony, or like the Metal Gear Solid games, like the HD collection, they still have not come back. It's been almost 2 years or something. Radio silence, not back. Right. It's crazy.
So I think going forward, they need to figure out some kind of deal to be like in perpetuity. You know what I mean? It's not these licenses are no longer for, you get it for 5 years, 7 years, and then you have to take it down. It's got to be, once you sign this, it stays up. Mm-hmm. And that's the only thing that you can do going forward if you're only going to offer those games, especially for preservation's sake.
Yeah, because that's like that is the biggest issue right there is, I mean, at any time licenses could just disappear. And then on top of that, like, okay, down the road when the technology is harder and harder to get, and it's like, okay, I want to play this game from PS4 back in the day and I can't get it anywhere else. Like, you know, like right now it's like, yeah, we like a lot of those early consoles, we have ROMs of those. Like those are available because people, you know, preserve them and like kept them like stored somewhere. So even if those games disappear off the face of the earth, we could still play those original like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, like those early classic great games. But yeah, our generation, like 20 years from now, 30 years from now, yeah, will we be able to fire up or even like access any of these games if, you know, there's a chance that they delist them all from the web shop and, you know, there's no way to back them up. Like
the good thing though, right, is technology is a help and a hurt. It has a potential to be, because while this is the easiest time for games licenses to be revoked and delisted, this is also some of the strongest tool sets that we've had as, you know, a society to be able to rip games and back them up by whatever means necessary. I'm not judging anybody for what they do, but there have been multiple instances of people being able to download games and rip them from whatever system's hard drive, and then they just have the ROM of the game on there. And that was one that was downloaded from the store. They can scrub it, put a fake license on it, whatever. Yeah. So there's ways to download these. There's more easy ways to download stuff like that than ever these days.
Yeah. I mean, heck, people, they figured out how to, granted, that here's the catch, like, so going to like PT, you know, that was delisted. Konami took that down. If you had downloaded it and purchased it at the time it was available, there's ways still today for you to get it but you had to have purchased it then, you know, and then what you do is you go through another server and then download it from this person who preserved it. They managed to rip it and keep the ROM. And so like you can, but again, you have to like, it checks your account to make sure like, okay, yep, you had purchased PT back when it originally came out. So, yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if there were tools that people can erase that.
And then even like the license check,
the authentication. Yeah. Cause I would, if I'm them, I'm going to erase that check and then I'm going to send that ROM to, like the Video Game History Foundation or some kind of museum so that it can be preserved.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that to say that we have the tools to do that and we have more accessibility to do that. And it's easier now than it's ever been. So even if we do go all digital, there's still ways to do it.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, we'll have to see what
all for going all digital, dude. I'm done. I'm done with discs, with carts, with whatever. I'm good.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I do have a couple physical games. Like I have like a couple PlayStation 1 games basically that are just like were given to me from a friend or that are special to me. You know, that's about it. Like I have physical games for like all the Metal Gear games and for Death Stranding. I should say, and like that's it.
I'm done with physical games that I can get digitally, if that makes sense, right? Like, so anything that was before 360 and PS3 where you couldn't download them, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, I have my DS games. Granted, you can download some PSP games, not all of them. But like GameCube, PS2 earlier, that's the stuff that I still have because that's the full game on the disc.
Yeah. Well, even with PS3 stuff, the other day I fired up my PS3 and was trying to download some stuff off of there, and it wasn't letting me anymore. So like some of my, like they're already like revoking licenses on there. Like I had bought Metal Gear Solid 1 digitally on there before. It will not let me download it. I had another like Crash Team Racing. I tried to would not let me. I'm like, all right, cool. So yeah, that's the scary thing about digital is like that's like a somewhat I mean, I know people might consider it retro now, but in my opinion, somewhat modern. It's just like, console in the fact that it was like one of the first for digital downloads, and even that's already like, no, yeah, sorry, like we're not gonna let you download it.
We're getting ready to, in a week, we're getting ready to lose the Wii U and the 3DS.
Yeah, crazy. Just gone.
There's a bunch of games on there that were only on the eShop, and they're gone. Thankfully, of course, people have already backed them up, but I'm just saying, as far as being accessible to the masses, they're gone.
So sad. All right, well,
but they're not gone if you know where to look. If you have a 3DS in about a week, send me a message. I'll show you where to get them.
You heard it here first.
You didn't hear anything.
You didn't hear. Oh, yeah. Right. All right. Well, let's move on here to the next news story. We got Resident Evil 4 remake killing it in the reviews here. We have a little review roundup. Yeah, we got a little review roundup from Darren Bonthus over at GameSpot. And yeah, he shares that the remake stands as a re-envisioning of its past rather than a replication of it, Kurt Indovina wrote in GameSpot's Resident Evil 4 remake review. In doing this, it raises the bar for what a good remake is, and at the same time preserves Resident Evil 4's legacy as a genre-defining experience and one of the greatest games of all time. Over on Metacritic, it had, well, at the time of this article, it had a 93. Let's see what it has. It's still at a 93. GameSpot gave it a 10 out of 10. IGN 10 out of 10. Whether you're a fan of the original or newcomer with a hankering for some heavy action horror of the highest quality, Resident Evil 4 is like a parasite-riddled Spaniard. A total no-brainer. Its combat is friction-free. Yeah, I'm not sure what they're going for with that, but
they could have workshopped that one a little
more. Its combat is friction-free, but no less stress-inducing thanks to its ferocious cast of creatures. Its story rapidly shuttles through a series of action scenes that are diverse in structure but uniformly unwavering in intensity. And its world is rich in detail and full of fun and often snarling surprises. VG24 at 7 gave it a 5 out of 5. VGC gave it a 5 out of 5. Game Informer gave it a 9.5 out of 10. Games Radar gave it a 9 out of 10. And then there's a little old Destructoid over here giving it a 75 out of 100, which
they just have to be different.
It's got to be different. Back in 2005, I liked Resident Evil 4, but I didn't love it. Well, that's your first thing. You put someone to review who didn't enjoy it. The remake hasn't changed that. Unlike the Resident Evil 2 remake, which was revolutionary, Resident Evil 4's glow up is more of a faithful recreation rather than an overhaul. It changes just enough that if you love the original, I can't guarantee this will leave you unperturbed. Meanwhile, if you didn't like its first iteration, it's not impossible that this will change your mind. I'm not sure what she's trying to say here. The best I can say is that it is an earnest effort at recapturing the magic, and it's worth checking out. It remains, as always, maddeningly inconsistent. So her problem is that it's too much like the original, and she didn't like the original. So I mean, if you like the original,
you're entitled to your opinion, but
you're
definitely in the minority.
Yeah, right. And it's okay for people to have whatever opinion you want. They can someone could have given this a 1 out of 100. I don't care. It just seems weird because I've heard discussions from IGN on their podcast, and I've heard discussions on GameSpot about their how they choose who reviews a game, and usually they pick someone who enjoys it. Right? And so it just seems weird to pick someone who's like, I didn't like the original, I'm going to review this one. It's like, what? So that's all. It's fine that she doesn't like the game. I'm not going to attack her for it because you know what? There's games that I don't like that people are like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Or vice versa that I love and people are like, that's trash. But
absolutely. I get crucified for it all the time.
Yeah, but again, it's more a critique of Destructoid. It seems weird to pick someone who's like, I don't like the original. I'm going to review the remake. It's like, okay. But I guess it did help with it does give us another point of view though of like, okay, if you didn't like the original, you're still not going to like the new one though. So in that case, it's helpful. But in general, I feel like most people love the first one. So that's it. It's like, I don't know. Kind of
you're on your own.
Thing. So definitely one to check out. That game comes out this Friday, March 24th. Really freaking soon. I'm going to be on a work trip out of town and I'm bummed. I won't be able to play it. It's coming to PC. Adrian, you were saying before you think it'll be Steam Deck certified. I don't think so.
I do because I think, well, look, RE2 and RE3 are both Steam Deck verified. I don't remember if they were Steam Deck verified at launch. I don't think they could have because they came out before that, right? They came out because Steam Deck only came out last year.
Correct.
But the fact that they were updated so quickly to become Steam Deck verified means that Capcom knows the deck exists and they know people will play it on deck. So for them to not have it deck ready out the gate is a little weird.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything on Steam, but
I would say based on their track record, it's going to be deck verified. I don't think you would have any reason to worry about it.
Right. Yeah, my thing was like, to give the listeners more context what we're talking about. I'm going to be on a work trip this weekend. Excuse me. And I was like, oh man, like I want to play the game. It's a bummer I'm going to be out of town. And he's like, oh, just get on your Steam Deck when it comes out. But my thing is like, I haven't read anywhere that it's Steam Deck verified. Your logic is sound, like you're 100% right. It probably will be. But my other thing is like, I've played all the other ones on PlayStation. So it just seems like right to play this one on PlayStation. For a game like this, I feel like with the visuals and stuff, I want it to be on a bigger screen and stuff. I don't want to like just necessarily play. Granted, if I get on a Steam Deck, I can play on my PC still, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We will see.
You could do that. You can get a dock.
There's just so many options now. That is the fun thing about it. I just have literally, I can do whatever I want. I can do anything.
Yeah. What a concept. Thank you, Val.
What a concept. Are you excited about this game?
Absolutely. I am one of the millions of people, of course, who sing the praises of Resident Evil 4. Could not get enough of that game when it came out on GameCube. Could not believe that a game that looked that good, and even to this day, still looks that good, that came on GameCube. Love it to death. Can't wait to play the remake at some point, but I have just too much to get through as of now.
Yeah, that's the other problem.
I love that it is there for me when I'm ready for it. I already know pretty much the overarching story of the game. It's kind of like the deal with Final Fantasy VII Remake. I know the overarching story, so there's nothing that's going to be there that's going to be like, oh my god, But we'll see.
Kind of blow your mind, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, maybe it's one of those like I really want to play it now, but maybe I just wait until October, and that's my Spooky Gamer Boys game. Because I've never played the original 4, so for me it would be like totally new to the story altogether. So
right,
maybe it's Spooky Gamer Boys for me.
That could be that'd be a good one.
And because I already have like Dead Space on my plate, I'm still trying to finish up too. So it's like too many horror games altogether there. I need to like break it up a little. Play Dead Space now, save that for later. All right. Well, that is it for Fallout. What am I talking about? Resident Evil 4.
You got Fallout on the brain? I don't blame you.
Got Fallout on the brain. That's a good game. I wish they'd make another Fallout, a good one.
4 was okay. Don't do that.
No. Fallout 76 I'm referring to.
Oh, okay.
The one that no one even remembers exists because that's how bad it was. The games as service, online only Fallout. Next news story comes to us from The Verge. Written by Jay Peters over there, Epic's Unreal Editor for Fortnite is finally launching on March 22nd. Epic Games is finally sharing more details about the Unreal Editor for Fortnite, which will let creators use tools from Unreal Engine to build games and experiences specifically for Fortnite. Unreal Editor for Fortnite is a new PC application for designing, developing, and publishing games and experiences directly into Fortnite, Epic said in a description of the tools on the Epic Games Store. With many of Unreal Engine 5's powerful tools and workflows at your fingertips, including custom asset import, modeling, materials, and VFX, sequencer and control rig, you'll have a whole new world of options for producing and publishing games and experiences for Fortnite that can be enjoyed by millions of players. Epic will also introduce a new programming language, Verse, as part of UEFN. That's Unreal Editor for Fortnite, kind of abbreviated there. The new tools will presumably be a significant step up from what's already offered in the in-game creative mode, which Epic launched in 2018. Experiences built in creative mode account for about half of all Fortnite playtime. Epic Games CEO Tim Sweeney said in April, Fast Company interview, and some creators have built lucrative businesses making maps for brands with the current available tools. So basically, you're not just getting like a creative mode like we've already, because there's already been a creative mode for a while, since 2018 they said, but this is like a full-on like...
This is like taking it down to the metal. Like
you can
make the same kind of maps that Epic makes.
Right. Like this is like they're basically just giving you Unreal Engine 5, but when you hit publish, instead of publishing a game like as like a standalone game, it's you can literally publish directly into like a Fortnite game mode that you and your friends and, like they said, millions of other people can play, which is crazy. And the fact that you can import assets. So imagine like playing Fortnite and someone imports like, I don't know, a head crab from Half-Life or something like that. Like, I don't know, like you can bring anything you want into the game now.
You can make a jungle map. Somebody can recreate the Death Star,
right, as
a map. Oh, you can make whole game modes now. You can make story cutscenes. Somebody can make a Fortnite campaign, dude.
I imagine it
the
a lot.
Options for this.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, oh, it's like Dreams, like on PlayStation, but specifically inside Fortnite. It's basically like they just made Dreams, which not very many people played. It was a great game. You should, if you have PlayStation, go get Dreams. But yeah, it's like, but within the Fortnite world, like that's so crazy. That's so awesome. Oh man, like imagine that, like someone. I just imagine someone making like Star Wars Battlefront like in Fortnite though, like you mentioned Death Star, but I'm thinking like make an Endor, make a Hoth, like keep going, like make like
you could do it. You could import every Snowspeeder assets, Walker assets. You could do it. That would be so sick, and it's possible. My mind is like exploding with the amount of things people could do with this. You could make like a competitive stage where you're in like an Indiana Jones temple and you all have to run and slide and jump over stuff to try to get out alive.
While you're being like chased by boulders and people attacking you and stuff. Yeah.
Somebody can make an Olympic Games thing where you have to sprint or you have to, you know what I mean? Do the longest jump or something. Just the possibilities for this are just, wow. The floodgates are getting ready to open, dude.
Yeah, because it literally just went from like a generic like, oh, creator mode where you're forced to use their assets and their limitations to like, no, we just gave you the keys to the basement. Like you can do whatever you want. Like, right. Go ahead.
You're an Epic developer now.
Yeah, crazy. I'm sure it's a little bit dumbed down compared to like actual Unreal Engine 5, but from what it sounds like,
I wouldn't be surprised if it was full on.
But from what it sounds like, it's pretty close to the whole thing. Like, yeah, it's sounds impressive. So, man, that's awesome. That's so cool. So I don't have much more to say about this other than like
I'm excited.
Some cool things. I don't even play Fortnite, and I'm excited because
I do. I'm hyped.
It makes some crazy things. I didn't even know there was a creator mode in the game. So even like reading that, I'm like, oh, that's cool. I didn't realize that was even a thing. Have you ever made anything in there, Adrian, or just
not
like
a thing?
Have you
I've played a lot of creative stuff like that where people have made stuff. And like they were saying that how people have made stuff for brands. There was a recent Dragon Ball collaboration. I think somebody made a map for that where it had like Capsule Corp, which is where one of the characters works, and the kind of the city surrounding it, and it was, you know, a pretty accurately made map. So,
wow, that's awesome.
And that was
really
just
cool.
with those tools. But imagine with somebody having access to making stuff from the ground up. Oh man,
so crazy, so good. Yeah, so look forward to that. Let's see, when was that coming out? 22nd. So today's the 20th. So Wednesday, when this episode comes out to the public, that will be available. So go check it out for sure. Make some cool stuff. And if you make cool stuff and you listen to our podcast, let us know.
Tell me about it. I'll play it.
Hit us up on social media or let us know in the Discord. We're on our Discord at supergamerboys.com/Discord and share it there. And, you know, that way other Super Gamer Boy fans and us as well, we'll check it out. I'd be totally down. That'd be awesome. Cool. Do you have anything else to add to that? Not much more you can.
I'm gonna keep my eye on it, and I'm gonna stay stoked for it. And if something of note comes up that happens to cross any of my feeds, I'll definitely drop it in here.
Heck yeah. All right, well, that is it for the Nerdy Nudes this week. Now it is time for our Patreon ad. This is the part of the show where I tell you to go over to patreon.com/supergamerboys and support us for just $1 a month. You can support us for more, but you can start at $1 a month if you'd like. You can get episodes early and ad-free, such as this show and our Super Gamer Book Club hosted by Adrian. This show, immediately after we finish recording here on Mondays, I try to pump it out as quick as possible, so that way tonight, if you wanted to, you kick back, relax, and listen to it as you doze off, go to sleep. But book club, you get that 2 full months early. That's right. So otherwise, you got to wait 2 months before you hear about our Grand Theft Auto Vice City thoughts, or at least mine. I feel like what's really fun is book club has turned into what Super Gamer Boys was originally. Super Gamer Boys was originally me introducing JJ to things. And now book club has become Adrian introducing me to things. Like, it's all these games he's played and loved, or these classics, and I've never touched.
You're welcome.
Really great, honestly.
Wait till you hear about next month.
Oh boy, should I have started it a month ago?
No, you're gonna like the next one.
Okay. Yeah, support over there starting at $1. You get episodes early and ad free. $5 a month, you can get the show notes ahead of time. So usually Sundays, I put those out. You can read through the stories we're going to talk about, all the listener questions we're going to discuss, and feel free to leave your own questions, comments, concerns relating to those things. So if you had thoughts about the PS5 Pro rumor, or if you have ideas of what you're going to do in the Unreal editor, you could have commented all that on the show notes and have it read on the air. And so if you want to be a part of the show, kind of share your thoughts, concerns, opinions, and whatnot, we would love to have them there. $10 a month, you get the shout out because you are a Super Gamer sponsor. We appreciate those folks big time each and every week. And then the top dog tier, we got our Patreon producers. We're at $15 a month. You get all those previous perks and the opportunity to pitch us a segment, and we will do it on the show. We have done pretty much everything pitched to us. Maybe not for very long, but we've done it. We tried it. There are some tall tales with JJ, but
there are some that have been retired, but we gave them a college try.
We gave it the good old college try. But if you have an idea, we'll give it a shot. We'll workshop it with you and get it to a good working point. Do it, and you know what? Sometimes they stick around. Look at this, Super Indie Boys still alive today. It was part of the show. It died, and now we brought it back. It's back better than ever over at youtube.com/supergamerboys. You get that every other week. By the way, I love that note that you put out about, because it was supposed to come out Saturday with the delay, though. Fantastic.
Oh yeah, they reached out to me, the Super Indie Boys team, and they just, life's been crazy for them lately, and they just needed a little more time. So I told them, we came to a decision on that one. So. Yeah. Tough choices, but
gotta make it for the betterment of the product. It's worth it. It's worth it. So think about supporting us over there. We'd very much appreciate it. We've gotten we actually got a couple new people this last couple weeks. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. I forgot to tell you, Adrian. Surprise. We got some new people a couple weeks ago. And you know who you are. Well, actually,
welcome.
You don't, because you're not listening to this, because you don't have to listen to it if you support us on Patreon. But if you happen to listen to this, you know who you are. Thank you so much. You can also support us over here on Twitch, where we stream Monday nights. So while we record live, mistakes and all, you never know what you're going to get over here. Craziness, things that JJ says I have to cut out. But that's right. Over at twitch.tv/TheSuperGamerBoys, you can support us over here for free. If you have Amazon Prime, you can link it with your Twitch account and use your Prime Gaming sub. You get a free one each and every month. Drop it on our channel. We'd appreciate it if you would. Doesn't cost you anything, literally $0 for you, and we get a little bit of cash out of Jeff Bezos' pocket off that one, and you get access. You get access to our emotes, like Adrian's hype face, which I use all across Twitch all the time. Like that's just my default emote. It's just his like super hyped face. I love it. The animated one where he's like
shaking.
So good. And then the last way you can support us, w.gg. You can use our code SGB to get 10% off. We get a little bit of kickback off that order. So no additional cost to you. W gives you a discount even, and gives us a little kickback on the other end. So think about supporting us over there if you are looking for energy that is sugar-free, gluten-free, and not going to give you a crash. It contains patented neurofactor, which helps with your brain function, helps you think good and do things good. They have very tasty flavors like Galaxy Grenade. There's a newer one called, what's that blue one called? Well, Push and Punch looks good. That one's always out of stock. I've looked at it a couple times. It's out of stock. That's how good it is. It's so freaking popular. There's that blue one, though. That blue one kind of sounds like it could be good. It's like a newer one that just came out because they have this big the new War on Big Energy, it's called. So that's what it's called, Big Energy Tears. I love that. It's like a blue raspberry flavor or something like that. But yeah, W's starting the war against Big Energy, because Big Energy is all about just selling you horrible crap and charging you a lot for it, where W is like, no, we're gonna give you good, clean energy that tastes good and isn't gonna necessarily fill you with a bunch of garbage, and also tastes good and is a decent price. So think about checking out w.gg, use our code SGB, get 10% off, and that's all you get. That's all you get. You're not getting any of the other stuff JJ's ever promised. Don't worry, just forget about any of
I didn't give you a hard time. I was gonna let you keep going.
I appreciate it. All right, that is it for the ad. Now let's get back to the show. All right, Adrian, this is the part of the show where I ask you, what you playing?
I just recently finished up Tobin for the first time. It was a delightful experience. I had a good time all the way through. It is definitely game. Under the, yes, absolutely. Especially for being, for them choosing to do the monochrome style. It works perfectly for that game. It is short and sweet. It does not overstay its welcome at all. If you mainline it, it's about 2.5, 3 hours to beat. Love that. So look out for the indie boys at the end of this week, should be coming for it. Okay. Outside of that, I've been kind of pecking away at Vice City a little bit just to kind of get the gameplay feeling. I'm playing the original. So like I busted my PS2 out. I got the disc for it. So just to kind of get and then I'm probably just going to watch a recap of the story because I've already played it a few times, but just to be ready for book club. I don't know. I'm still having fun with it. I know you're having a time with it because it's got some things. Usually we get a lot of old game is old.
Yeah,
when we do old games for book club, which I understand, it's I always have to remind myself that you had to be there for a lot of games, which, we'll talk more about it on book club, but I'm having fun with Vice City, at least revisiting it after a while. I mean, I'm probably having more fun than people who bought the definitive edition. So
yeah, I'm sure.
I'm also doing my best to stay out of the Xenoblade trap, because I've seen people recently talking about Xenoblade 3, and I don't have 100 hours. I want to have 100 hours, but there are other games to play. I cannot do it right now, but boy, do I want to do it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
It's awesome. Now that's just on Switch, correct?
It is.
Okay. Sino played, and you've played the first two?
Yeah.
Okay. So it'd just be the third one. It's not like you'd be jumping into the whole series.
I don't have the time. I wish I did, because I hear it's the best one of the three, which is crazy, because they're all very, very, very good games. One is my favorite. I don't know.
That's crazy. Crazy. I know that's always so tempting when people are like, it's the best one. It's like,
it's the same thing, right? Like with RE4, right? It's on my list of games to do. But at the same time, I just bought a gang of games off of the Steam sale. I still have games that I bought in 2017, 2018 on Switch that I haven't played all the way through. So I can't, I gotta start churning these things out.
Yeah, gotta get her done.
Right, because there's getting ready to be a Switch 2, and I bought games on Switch 1 that I haven't even played. So I gotta figure this out.
Gotta figure it out. Man, that's awesome. So for me, just to go back to Vice City real quick, I'm playing on my Steam Deck, but I am playing the original PS2 version.
The original cut.
I got the emulator on there and got it all worked up because I don't have a way to play PS2 games otherwise, like a weirdo. I think I posted a story on my Instagram a few weeks ago. It's like, people are going to think I hate even numbers. I have a PlayStation 1, PlayStation 3, and PlayStation 5.
I have a spare Slim if you want it.
So, I mean, the problem with that is I still would need the disc. Like, I don't have disc to play other than the only PlayStation 2 disc I have is Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3.
Not a bad one to have. Not bad ones to have.
But it works fantastic. Runs buttery smooth 60 FPS on my Steam Deck. It's great.
I can tell you right now on PlayStation 2 hardware, I am not getting 60 FPS.
Yeah, it looks fantastic, plays fantastic. The controls are dialed in perfectly, like with the emulator. So yeah, I'm loving it in that sense, that it's just running smoothly and I don't have to fight with it. And it's, I don't know, because even like emulators on my PC in the past, I've had issues with like, oh, it didn't save my game right, or like the save state or whatever it is. So I'm glad it just is so flawless on the Steam Deck so far. And then, yeah, just to like very, very briefly touch on it, because again, we're going to talk about it at book club, but you're right. Like there is a touch of old game is old, but there's also like this weird touch of like, and I was telling you before the show, I want more out of each mission. We're so spoiled today with our modern day games where missions are like, we get either this vast open world or like this elaborate story mission. And in Vice City, I can finish a mission in like 5 to 10 minutes. Like, they're very fast. Isn't that a good
thing though? I was thinking about that when you said that before the show, because you always talk about how you never have a lot of time to play. I feel like that's a good thing for you, right? Because you get a lot done in a short amount of time.
That's true. In that sense, yes, because like I have like, yeah, I only have like 5 minutes to play. Cool. I'll knock a mission out and I can finish the whole mission easy because it's just like in, out. But I guess if I really look deep down inside my soul and what I like really actually want from a game, like even though I don't have the time to do it, I still enjoy those things. I enjoy getting like a certain amount of content out of like a mission or a story or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so far, there's been just different areas where it's like lacking. But again, it's a product of its time. It's a PS2 game from 2003, 4, 3 or 4, somewhere around there.
No. Yes. Yeah, because San Andreas was 05. So yeah. Okay. Was it 05 or 04? One of the two.
So it is an old game. It's technically an old open world game. So because like you look at like Metal Gear Solid 2 on PS1 or not PS1, in 2001, like had a much more elaborate and in-depth story. But it's like that's all it was doing, very linear kind of thing. Where like San Andreas, like it's a big world. Like there's a lot going on. Like there's only so much they can fit on those PS2 discs, and you can do whatever. Like there's like it's actually kind of incredible. Like the amount of like cities.
That PS2 disc is shaking to try to fit all of that San Andreas content in there. It is
busting at the seams.
Right.
Oh man. It's like a little thicker, a little chubby disc. It's like
I wouldn't be surprised if it was a dual layer.
His zipper's about to pop open. Yeah, so that's I mean that's all I'll share. We'll obviously talk more about it on book club, but it's just like so many times I'm like, that's it. Like it was just getting to the point where I'm like, oh, okay, this is interesting. Oh, mission complete. Okay, cool, all right. And then they just kind of like expect you to either like pick up what's going on through the cutscene or whatever. It's like, okay.
It was
cool.
also a limited scope though, right? Like you had to think about, even the people who were developing didn't think about the fact that, oh man, what if we had them do more? It was the fact that you could just at least do the car chase. That was what was the big deal.
Right. Again, and that goes back to like, it's a product of its time. Like at the time, like that blew people away. Like I'm going to do a car chase through an entire city. Holy crap.
Shooting
like,
at the same time?
Yeah. Oh man. Although Driver did that on PS1, so
it did, but not like this.
Not like that.
I couldn't get out the car and keep shooting in Driver.
That's true. So the other game I've been playing, which I got Eddie all riled up and I loved it.
Does it rhyme with Schmalo Schmite?
No, not at all. That's not what I was talking about. I was going to talk about. No, just kidding. Yeah, that's it. That's the one. I picked up Hollow Knight. I said it. I know. I said it. I think a part of the Steam sale. I think I just got it, right? Yeah, because I didn't own it before. It was on sale because Steam has their big spring sale right now. It's just everyone's wallets are crying right now.
Mine got beat down. My wallet got beat up.
But I mean, they have some killer deals. There's like games on there, like some good indie games for like $2-3, $4. I'm like, what the heck? Like that's so cheap.
Some meaty ones too.
Yeah, some good stuff in there. But I got Hollow Knight, and holy crap, that game is so good. I mean, I've barely scratched the surface. Like I don't think I'm that far in. I've only played like maybe like 3 hours total or something like that, like if I'm really being honest. But either way, it's I'm loving the combat, I'm loving the atmosphere. The soundtrack is like a 10 out of 10. Like the music is so good in that game. Yeah, I
told you before.
I know it's go ahead.
I was gonna say, I told you before we started recording, I said, you're loving it now. I said, but there are gonna be times where you better get ready to tear your hair out.
Yeah, I know.
Boy, does it get hard.
And that's what I've heard. I know it gets hard. Like that's what everyone always tells you. Like, oh, dude, like it's a hard game. It's a difficult game. Like there's, really difficult bosses. Kind of like a Dark Souls almost of like this 2D side scroller platformer. But so far, like I'm loving it. So until that happens, holy cow, this is up there for me. I don't know why I waited so long to play it. Like we'll see what happens. Once I get to the more difficult part, we'll see how my tune changes there. But it's just one of those games. Like I think I even own it on other. I own it on other things, so I didn't need to buy it. Like I could have played others somewhere else. But again, it comes down to the convenience of it. It's like, all right, I think I got it for free through the Epic Game Store, but it's like, all right, you can't play the Epic Game Store on your Steam Deck without doing some crazy over-the-top hack and breaking your system. So
I know.
So it's like, all right, well, I guess I'm not gonna, and I didn't want to sit in front of my PC and play it. Again, it's like such a perfect on-the-go game, something on your Switch or whatever. So when I saw it on sale, I'm like, I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna play it, and it's so good. So again, only a couple hours in, and I probably should be farther than I am after 2 hours, but I've just been exploring like every single freaking inch of the place. Like that's what I love. I only just got to like a second area. Like I've been in like this one area like for 2 hours, and finally I'm like, all right, I think I've gotten everything I can possibly get here. Now I'm gonna move on. So loving it, Eddie.
Okay,
you got to try it, dude. I know you were hating on it before, but you really need to pick up this game. I know, like, you were like, it's not my type of game, but I think you should give it a chance. Give it a chance.
You never know, dude.
You never know. Might be your favorite game of all time. So that's, I think, all I've been playing.
Okay.
Oh, the one other game. Shoot, what's it called? I was telling you about it. The indie game.
Oh, How to Say Goodbye.
How to Say Goodbye. That was a game. I think it was part of like one of those directs, the Wholesome Direct or something like that last year. And I just played like 30, 40 minutes of it. I don't think it's a very long game. I think you can beat it in like a couple hours or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And holy cow, it's a very just charming, sweet game, but it's such like a dark and heavy theme around it. Like it comes off with the art style and the music and stuff like that. Like oh, it's kind of like this cheery kind of, or like just, yeah, charming is the word I can think of. But it's about death. Like you literally start the game where you type your name in. What is your name? What was your favorite food? It's literally the, what do they call it? Like an obituary, like in the newspaper. Mm-hmm. Like you're basically like filling out like, oh, his favorite food is this, and his drink. Like we're going to go out and have a plate of blank, in a glass of this, and in honor of Garrett, and and you pick like what was your favorite season, and that's like the season you died in. Like, oh, Garrett loved fall, and this is the time of year he died, and stuff like that. It's like, oh man, like then the whole thing is really you're controlling your spirit, your ghost through this transitioning in the afterlife, and you're coming up against these other spirits who are also moving into the afterlife and having conversations with them and like their experiences, what they're going through. But then also there's these other spirits that are like they've
malicious.
lost their way. Like they've been trying to, like, for too long, trying to finally work their way to the afterlife in this kind of like intermediary zone, and to the point where like they're essentially becoming feral. Like they are becoming like they have no purpose. Like what are they doing here? What are they like? They're
unfinished
dead.
Business.
Yeah, they're dead. They're not alive. They're not completely dead. They're like in between. They've not gone on to like their final resting place, and so like they're messing with you. While like ultimately it's all like just a puzzle game. It's not like there's combat or anything in this game, but it's like a slider puzzle. So it's like all this kind of slider puzzle, trying to grab keys and open doorways and figure out how to get into the next area. It's really fun gameplay and just, again, a fantastic atmosphere around it that just really been enjoying. So check it out. I think that was one of those that was like $2 or $3 on sale right now. So
let me go and take a peek. Go ahead.
Yeah, so check it out for sure. I'm pretty sure it was like a couple bucks, unless watch it not be on sale anymore. Oh no, I was wrong. It's $9, right? It was $9. It was not one of the cheap ones. I mean, that's still a great deal though. Like $9.
Right. I'm sure.
It won a bunch of Steam awards, or it was nominated at least for. It shows here for sit back and relax games, for outstanding visual style. Let's go check it out. How to Say Goodbye. All right, well, that's all I got this week. Thank you all so much for listening. If you love what we do over here, well, before that, thank you for listening, because from the bottom of our heart, like, we just are so thankful, appreciate it so much, that you take time out of your day to listen to our podcast, watch our YouTube channel, all the shenanigans we have going on now on our YouTube channel with the different videos and stuff. We really appreciate it, all the love and support.
Yes.
The comments, the likes,
the engagement,
because that's what ultimately helps the most. Like, we love the views and stuff, but even more recently, people have been engaging and commenting and liking and stuff like that. So all of that helps tremendously. So thank you. Please continue to do it if you can, so we can keep making bigger and better things. If you want to support us monetarily and help us, purchase more games to talk about on the show here, upgrade equipment, buy that PS5 Pro that comes out next year. Think about supporting us over at patreon.com/supergamerboys, starting at just $1 a month. So not much, and it helps you get episodes early and ad-free, helps us, like I said, make cool things with it. You can also support us by going to sgbstore.com and getting some t-shirts, mugs, stickers, whatnot from over there. let's see, w.gg. You can use our code SGB to get 10% off. And also, again, helps support the show financially through that. Rate and review us where you can. If you go over to Apple Podcasts, drop a review. We'd really, really appreciate it. I think Spotify has reviews now as well. If you listen on Spotify podcast, help us out where we can. Shout out to Jack.
The old-fashioned tell a friend.
That too. Just tell a friend in real life, or just share it on Facebook or Instagram. That would be
any and everywhere you put it helps.
So we'd be so appreciative of that. Just quick little share on Facebook saying like, hey, this is a podcast I like. Check out this episode. Whatever. Yep. Maybe, if you need to start with an episode, like a nice episode to ease them in, maybe pick this one because JJ's not on it. Start them off easy with me and Adrian. It's a nice chill episode.
You've also been putting out clips of the show, so that's a good place for people to get their feet wet. Just kind of throw them a clip.
Yeah, if you haven't noticed over on YouTube, we have a new series, SGB Clips, where I clip out the 3 news stories from the show and post them just in short little however long we talk about it, from 10 to 15 minute long sections. So just like, hey, this is something I think you'd like. Go check it out. Nice short little video. Then they don't have to sit here for an hour and a half or whatever it is, hour and 20 minutes, a full episode. See if they like our style, and then they can check out the rest. Shout out to Jack Sriracha and Yate for allowing us to use their incredible music on our show. Remember, you can find them on Spotify and Apple Music. Links will be in the show description on YouTube and podcast services. During the week, you can find us at supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram at supergamerboys. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at gmorlang. Adrian, where can they find you at?
You can find me any and everywhere at Homeboy.
Sweet. And, that's all I got for this show this week. Adrian, you want to take it away?
Sure thing. As always, folks, as Garrett said earlier, thank you so much for hanging out with us and listening to us just rant and rave about all things video games, and mixed in with a little bit of what's going on, just chatting and shooting the breeze. We appreciate everybody who just comes to listen, or just, does a drive-by like on a video or whatever. Everything helps. Because like I said, we would have just been talking about this anyway. So for me, Adrian Homeboy Holmes, and for Garrett, what should I say? What would JJ say?
Something very inappropriate.
Something inappropriate. I'll just say Garrett the Colonel Morlang. We are the Super Gamer Boys.
And we will catch you on the flippity flop.
We're out of here. Can you believe that? Bed bugs.
Nasty.
All in the mailbag.
Absolutely nasty. I don't even want that back now.
I guess we gotta get another one.
Thank you.
We gotta start a mailbag budget.